You call in to ask me more about this, but I don't really know anymore without having the document with the updated guidelines, and I can't figure out how. So far, I haven't been able to figure out how to actually access the actual document, rather than this is just a summary of the changes and it's not being specific enough. You can kind of read between the lines a little bit, but I obviously don't want to read wrongly between the lines. But what attracted my attention was the fact that they changed it on the 16th, and that was 3 days before Nicola's body was discovered. There's a few ways of looking at that. So police, the first point here is bullet point added to police actions in relation to support for family section. I do know what that is. That's the only thing I've been able to locate. And that's about social media, about whether they speak to social media, because there's been a lot of criticism of social media, but and there's been a lot of criticism of the media, but I think that the family had media ties, not the family, the friend probably, Emma White had, you probably realise, had media ties, friend knows Dan Walker by seemingly, who did the interviews. So the family understandably, the family and friends understandably wanted to get the story out there, but it's blown up, and they must have been interacting with social media as well they're basically saying police are going to advise you not to speak to social media, or not to be careful about what you put out on social media. I don't know how that would actually be worded. Sentence added to medium and low risk missing persons section. I'll miss that, the next one, and I'll just go on to this one because this one's could be more interesting. Sentence added to medium and low risk missing persons section of timescales for collecting samples. Now, do they mean forensic samples? And I would glean from that Nicola was not initially classed as high risk. They didn't do their homework to start off with, and she was classed as medium or low risk even. Says sentence added, they misclassed her basically. I think that's the headline here. And so mistakes were made. Like, I'm assuming they're talking about forensics when they're saying collecting samples. So I would assume she wasn't classed as high risk until the Monday. And the reason I was looking at this was because I was thinking about the fact that Becky Smith, or Rebecca Smith, was involved, and she's a senior investigating officer. And I was looking into why a senior investigating officer is required. In what cases are they required? And all I could find was homicide investigations, murder investigations. So I thought, I had read something about missing persons. So that's when I started looking at the missing persons, and I thought, I might say in there. That's when I found this. But did it get reclassed on the Monday, not only as high risk, but as a suspected murder investigation? Because otherwise, why was somebody so high up required? So I'll go back to that other one. MPB, missing persons, I don't know what B stands for. Is it Bureau? References, changed to UK MPU. So that's UK Missing Persons Unit. And links updated. We need the guidelines to find out what that's about. So we've just said about the high risk, the risk rating, which it must have been, she must have been rated wrongly. And my concern, to be honest, is about this seems to be pervasive across health services as well, about women not being taken seriously. I'm experiencing this myself with my health. I've been on a waiting list for 16 months for rheumatology, and every time I've actually become anxious about going to appointments because because I also have anxiety, and that is being seen as the headline basically. And what's my other problems, it's like the two are mutually exclusive. You cannot have you don't seem to be able to have physical problems if you have anything psychological going on. But obviously being in constant pain is quite anxiety provoking and affects your mood. So I just feel like this might be the headline. I keep saying headline, but that's my point of view, and I know you want to write this from your point of view, whatever you think is appropriate. So I'm just telling you where I'm coming from, really. I'm going to the next point. Legal references added to media strategy section. That sounds like about controlling the media, and in a way I find that a bit concerning. And I think if you're in the media, you should find it concerning too. Again, just my opinion. Then the next one, NPCC, N for November, PCC. Don't know what that acronym stands for. Lead reference added to family-initiated media campaigns. It's all about controlling the narrative, I think. Media campaigns section. So they did initiate a media campaign. And so maybe it's about controlling families' media campaigns a bit. Big Brother, it all sounds a bit Big Brother, to be honest. Sentence added to confidentiality section and interview section. So they basically preempted the fact that Nicola was going to be found soon, somehow. And they didn't want people talking about it. And that's why all the press are talking about is social media. So there's just this, they've just pitted the multimedia against social media. So now multimedia can't talk about anything. So they're just going to slag off social media. But effectively, they're just slagging off the general public, because every man, dog and his wife are looking at social media. So that is everyone. Yeah, so this is all about gag order anyway, by the looks of it. Section added, confidentiality section and interview section. And then the next one is paragraph added, prevention interview section. Don't know what prevention interviews are. I'm assuming it's to do with damage limitation. And I feel like it's a bit... They've changed the rules of the game whilst the game's still in play, is what I think, because 16th of November, far as we know, she may never have been found. But they seem to know that she was going to be found soon, because they've done all this. I suppose she could have been found at any time. It might just be coincidence. I don't know. But 19th, she's found. Oh, God, I can't remember where I was going with that. Hold on. I'm going to re-listen to the last bit that I was saying. Sorry, I'm having some cognitive cog fog, basically. I'm also perimenopausal. It feels like that's been... Actually, I'm not going to go into that.